Okay guys, welcome back to your old pal Hondo, doing a quick video on a power supply, which is the Aresgame power supply. There's probably a million videos of this. I think Nexus Gaming did a video on this a couple years ago. It's rated for 80 plus bronze. It's got a 5-year warranty. It's a 500 watt power supply. It's the AVG power supply, bronze power supply. That's what it says on the box. I don't know how much bronze it really is. I think Nexus did a review on it, and it kind of came out to being like a 430 watt power supply, more than it was a 500 watt power supply. As you can see on the box, it does have a lot of writing and stuff on it. Sorry about that. I about dropped the box. You know, it is a 140 millimeter power supply, and width is about 8.5 inches. It's ATX, and let's see here. This may not even fit my case that I got for my micro ATX computer build, but we do have on the box it says this is the 500 watt. They do make a 650 all the way up to a 750 power supply. Like I said, this is one gripe I do have about this box. The writing is extremely small. If you got bad eyesight, you're not going to really see it. And that also goes for the manual as well. A 3 volts. This is the DC output. I guess it's the AC output is AC 100, 240 watt, 10A, 3A. I can't, like I said, I can't even see the writing on this. This is one of the gripes I have with this power supply, the manual as well. I mean, you can barely even see the writing on it, and it does have a diagram of the cables and the frequency of the power supply right here. But like I said, the writing is really small. Now, I do like the back writing, though. It's a little bit bigger for the cables. Tells you which cables are which. The CPU cables, the PCIe, GPU cables, Molox cables, and the SATA cables right here. And I guess you got a FOD cable. I don't know what that is. Probably for floppy disks and whatnot. It does have a 5-year warranty, and again, we're gonna open it up. Okie dokie. This is what you get in the box. You get a lot more writing over here, troubleshooting. You know, it does come with a tester, and I've only ever seen like 3 videos. I don't really see a good review on this at all. Now, of all the videos I have seen of this, the manual is a lot bigger than this. This is what my gripes with the manual right here, guys. Look at this. It's ridiculous. The writing is tiny. You need a magnifying glass to look at this thing. I swear to God. My eyesight, I'm getting older. The older I get, my eyesight gets worse. Again, the writing is freaking small. You need to be a freaking dang an insect to read this, man. It's so tiny, man. You know? I wish it came with bigger instructions on the cables. And then that's one gripe I have about this power supply. Major gripe is the manual. And the writing on the box is really ridiculously small. Okay, there's a power supply out of the bag. I'm trying to do this as a quick video, and I'm going to gripe a little bit about this because there's a few things about it I don't like. I wish they would have put on this power supply that they do on most power supplies. They mark the CPU cable and the GPU cables. Again, if you don't know, this is what the CPU power cable looks like. It comes with 2 cables that are side to side like this, and they can be mistaken for the, if I can get them over here, they do get mistaken a lot with these, or for the GPU here. That's the one thing I had an issue, because I was looking at the dang manual. I'm not new to computer building, but for somebody who's inexperienced, that could be a tricky thing, and that could, you know, make that person not want to build a computer. But, you know, it doesn't have good directions to where it tells you which is which. This is the CPU power cables. These are it. And, you know, they will break in two, you know, to fit if you got like a smaller cable connector and a motherboard. You could put these two together and then slam it. It's got two different types. 8 pins for your motherboard. And like I said, you have the pins for your GPU. Again, how hard is it for y'all to write down the you know, PCIe and CPU on these cables? How hard is that? Was that some kind of like cost-effective thing? Because I've seen a lot of the older reviews on this 500-watt power supply, and a lot of them older reviews, they had threaded cables and they had writing on the stupid cables. If somebody was new to building a computer, this would confuse the hell out of them. They wouldn't know which cables go where. That's my gripe with this power supply in general. I may have bought too big of a power supply for the build that I'm doing with the Coolmaster. I think it's a Coolmaster Q300L case I got coming in the mail for this build. If I did, I'm gonna have to either send this back or, you know, buy another power supply, and that'll screw up my build. But a few other things that you get with this power supply is a generous amount of zip ties. I like that. And you get your screws to mount your power supply into a case, and you get a tester. I think there's more stuff in the box. I think, nope, I think it's just the tester. Now the way you use this tester, and there's videos out there, is you hook it to this right here. It's 24 pin, or yeah, I think it's 24 pin connector. You know, you basically hook it on the end of the 24 pin connector. You take the plug to the wall and you plug it into the wall. Once you plug it into the wall, the fan should spin. You're not going to get anything else than that from this power supply, but the fan's spinning. So if the fan is spinning, that means the power supply works, and you can put it into your computer case and then plug it into your motherboard. I'm glad it does have a 5-year warranty, just in case, you know, it does break. I can send it back and get a new one, which to me, if I had to give this thing a rating compared to some of the other power supplies like Corsair and Seagate and Thermaltakes, I'd give it like 3 out of 5 stars. It's one of the most confusing power supplies I've ever seen, that I've ever bought, really. I mean, I've bought cheaper power supplies than this one, and you know, they had CPU written on the CPU power cables, and, you know, PCI on the GPU cables. I mean, how hard is it to write PCIe cable and, you know, CPU power cable on the stupid thing so people don't get confused? If you're a new builder, that would be confusing as hell, and, deter people from wanting to build computers because of silly crap like this. Like I said, I've seen reviews before of this power supply that, you know, a couple years back, you know, they had threaded cables. They were clearly marked CPU PCIe on the cables. This one don't have it. So again, and the manual sucks, guys, and the writing on the box sucks. I ain't never seen worse power supply than this one, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, it does work. I'm not going to sit here and say it don't work. I've already plugged it into the wall. I wanted to test it out before I put it into my case down the road. So, you know, it does work. I'm not saying it ain't going to work. How long it holds up, I don't know. I've never seen anybody complain about them not working on the internet or reviewers or anything like that, because Nexus Gaming did a a review on this similar unit and, you know, power tested. I've seen a few other YouTubers put these into their gaming rigs as well. Maybe not their main rigs. I mean, I wouldn't even put this, like, if I was going to build like a really, like a $2,000 computer, I would not put this one or this brand in a $1,000 computer. I would go with a Corsair or a Thermatake. And honestly, I think the Thermatake would be a better power supply than this one. This is bronze. The Thermatakes are white series, but I still think the Thermatakes, everyone I've ever used was always a Boss power supply. They just always worked. And everything was, the manuals were nice on them. The big writing, you could see what it's trying to tell you. You don't need freaking a magnifying glass to see it. The cables were marked really well to tell you where each of these cables go to on the Thermatakes, unlike this thing. Like I said, it's not a bad power supply. I guess if you're on a budget and you're building like a budget rig, or you're trying to soup up a Dell Optiplex with a 24 to 8 pin adapter to put a bigger power supply in there, so you can put a bigger GPU in an old Dell Optiplex, yeah, go with this thing. But I mean, if you're trying to build like a $2,000 Ryzen 7 or, you know, Intel i7 computer or something like that, I wouldn't go with this power supply. I would go with something like a Thermatake or a Seagate or a you know, Corsair before I would go with something like this. Gets 2 thumbs down from your old pal Hondo. I don't recommend it. I think it's shit. Alright guys, this has been your old pal Hondo on a quick video on a power supply review. Take it easy guys.